Hello everyone. Today we are discussing about the best iPads to buy in 2023. Apple's iPad selection is more intriguing and complex than it has been in a long time. Apple now sells 3 tablets in the 11-inch range that carry generally similar designs but have significant variances when it comes to internal components and accessory support, following the arrival of the 10th generation iPad and the iPad Pro with an M2 processor last year. The 10.2-inch iPad from 2021 is still available, although it seems to serve a different market than its next-generation replacement. You're not the only one who struggles to decide which to purchase. With additional features and functionality as well as larger screens, choosing which iPad is the ideal tablet for you isn't as simple as it once was. We're here to outline the advantages and disadvantages, show how they stack up against one another, and help you make a decision. If you are curious to learn more about the price and other information to be sure, then check the description box. Before we get started, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon without further ado. Let's watch the video. Number 1. Best for most. iPad Air. The iPad Air is the most appealing iPad model out of the 6 that are currently available. In our evaluation of the most recent edition, we gave it a 90 rating. With a bright, sharp, and accurate 10.9-inch display surrounded by small bezels and smooth corners, it has the same elegant and comfortable design language as the iPad Pro while being less expensive. Although the iPad Air's USB-C port isn't as fast as the Thunderbolt connection on the iPad Pro, being able to charge the Air with the same cable as your other devices is still a benefit. This port is comparable to what you'd find on a MacBook and many other non-iPhone devices. The M1 system on a chip from Apple, which is the same silicon used in the entry-level MacBook Air, updated the Air in 2022. Although it's not the newest SoC from Apple, this one is still more than capable of handling almost any task you can throw at it. Like the 11-inch iPad Pro, the iPad Air is also compatible with Apple's greatest add-ons, such as the second-generation Pencil Pen and the amazing Magic Keyboard. Although they significantly increase costs, these are necessary for frequent typers or digital artists. It's a little crowded in the center of Apple's iPad lineup. If you require more storage than the Air's standard 64 GB, you should consider upgrading to the 11-inch iPad Pro, which starts at 128 GB and costs not much more than a larger Air, but includes a superior 120 Hz display and M2 chip. Although the new 10.9-inch iPad isn't awful either. Even yet, the iPad Air offers Apple's finest overall price and performance ratio, despite not being very inexpensive. The price of iPad Air is $500. Number 2. Best budget. iPad 9th generation. It's completely fine to get the 9th generation iPad in its place if you can't afford the Air, or if you simply don't use your tablet frequently enough to justify spending that much money. It's by far the most affordable option to try out iPadOS, starting at $329 for a 64 GB device and frequently going for less than $300. Although the hardware is clearly inferior than the versions above, it is still more than adequate for the necessities. In 2021, we gave the 9th generation iPad a review grade of 86. The only current iPad that adheres to Apple's earlier design philosophy is this one. While being just slightly thicker and heavier than the 10th generation iPad and iPad Air, it only has room for a 10.2-inch display due to broader bezels. That screen is just as sharp, but unlike the 10th generation iPad, it isn't laminated and is therefore more prone to glare. The tablet charges via a Lightning port rather than a USB-C port, and the home button on the bottom bezel doubles as a Touch ID fingerprint reader. Although its speakers don't sound as well, it is the only iPad that still has a headphone connection, and its front-facing 12MP camera is adequate. The cost is ultimately what matters. The 9th generation iPad is Apple's most cost-effective offering, and the savings help to cover up many of its flaws. The price of iPad 9th generation is about $270. Number 3. Best for one-handed use. iPad Mini. The iPad Mini is exactly what it says. It is a smaller version of the iPad. It is undoubtedly the smallest and lightest iPad currently available, and its 8.3-inch screen is easier to use with one hand. In 2021, we rated the iPad Mini an evaluation score of 89. With squared-off corners, tiny bezels, no home button, a Touch ID sensor in the power button, stereo speakers, reliable cameras, and a USB-C connection, it closely resembles the iPad Air in terms of design. Although it has the same maximum brightness, lamination, anti-reflective coating, and wide color gamut, its display is technically sharper. The A15 Bionic SoC from Apple, which will also power the iPhone 13 phones in 2021, powers the Mini. Although it lags below the laptop-grade M1 or M2 CPU, this is technically quicker than the chip inside the 10th generation iPad model, and once again, more than powerful enough for most jobs. The Mini has an MSRP of $499 for the 64GB model and $649 for the 256GB model. Number 4, best for power users, iPad Pro 12.9-inch. The 12.9-inch iPad Pro occupies a unique space in the Apple tablet portfolio. It costs $100 more than the M1 MacBook Air at $1,099 for 128 GB of storage. That costs quite a bit of money for a platform that still struggles with laptop-style productivity, and it is far more than anyone should have to pay to perform the great majority of tasks on an iPad. However, the 12.9-inch iPad Pro is Apple's best tablet device in terms of pure hardware. In November, we awarded the most recent iPad Pro a review score of 87. The display here has a 120 Hz refresh rate and can get brighter than the Air's display. Though it is the only iPad to feature mini LED illumination, which can produce higher peak brightness, enhanced contrast, and a generally more realistic image, the 12.9-inch Pro's Liquid Retina display is more of an upgrade than the 11-inch model. Apple's new M2 SoC, which powers the Pro, isn't a significant improvement over the M1 in real-world use, but has a higher performance overhead going forward. The iPad Pro adds a 10MP ultra-wide lens and an LED flash to the Air's 12MP rear camera. In addition, the Pro boasts a speedier Thunderbolt USB-C port, stronger speakers, and support for Face ID. It can now detect when an Apple Pencil is hovering above the display and preview potential inputs according to its most recent update. The 1TB and 2TB editions double the RAM from 8GB to 16GB, offering more storage possibilities up to 2TB. And it is compatible with all of Apple's top add-ons. It's a powerhouse, and the larger display on the 12.9-inch Pro should make it the most suitable option for all-day laptop-style use if you do want to use an iPad more frequently for business. That's all for today. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe our channel, and hit the bell icon. Thank you all.